So Gilbert Arenas and the crew had this clip that came out. The Boston Celtics are not a championship caliber team. You know I have to step in. Let's see what they got to say, man.
Do the Celtics look like a championship level team right now?
No.
Damn.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. They look like they looked when they didn't have Porzingis. They look like a team that could get to the finals that didn't really deserve to be there, but happened to get there because of injuries on the East and, you know, lucking up a certain amount of times. The way that they're playing is frustrating.
Can we just... Jesus Christ. When has injuries never been involved in a finals run? When has injuries never been involved in a finals run? It was involved last season. It was involved last season on both ends because the Minnesota Timberwolves, they didn't have Jaden McDaniels. They didn't have Naz Reid. In the second round, Chris Paul was injured. And in the Western Conference Finals, I believe LeBron wasn't at 100%. Hell, this season, the Lakers didn't have Jared Vanderbilt. So, on the Western Conference last season, injuries were a thing. On the East side, in the first round, Giannis was not 100%. He missed the first 2 games of that series. While he still played, and when he did play, he was fine. Injuries were still involved. In the second round, I don't know who was injured for the New York Knicks. So, I guess no one was... And if anything, the person who was injured was Jimmy Butler. But nevertheless, injuries were involved in the second round last season. Let me see. I feel like someone was... Julius Randle didn't play all 6 games, so do we want to count that? I'm not entirely sure why Emmanuel Quickly only played 3 games. I'm just trying to jog my memory right now, but it looks like injuries, players missing games were involved here. And then in this series, Game 7, Jason Tatum rolled his ankle. If we want to play, it shouldn't have went to 7. I don't give a fuck. My point is, injuries have always been a part of playoff runs, as recent as last season. Do we need to go to 2021? Do we need to go through 2017? Do we need to go through the injuries that have impacted the conference more than just one playoff run? The Derrick Rose injury. That is an injury that, while it didn't affect one, it did affect one specific playoff run, but that is an injury that has created shockwaves throughout the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. So what are we doing over in the Western Conference? 2015, the Warriors went through a bunch of injury-riddled teams. I don't get it, because a lot of motherfuckers had the Heat already beating the Celtics already beating the Heat in the first round. A lot of people, even with Donovan Mitchell on the team, already thought the Celtics were about to sweep the Cavs. So now that, I don't know, bro. I think, to me, this is just another case of injuries are such a lose-lose situation for all parties. Obviously, for the losing team, the team who had to suffer through the injury, number one, the players actually hurt. We never want to see players go through pain. But number two, you never get to see the full potential of that team. But then number three, on the winning side, there's always the asterisk of, hey, man, you went through you beat an injured team. Even though there's quite literally, and y'all have already told me this, an alternate timeline where, hey, motherfuckers are healthy, they still win. So now the credit is removed from the winning side. This shit is just corny to me, dog. Shit is just corny.
Because now it's like it proves Gil's point back when I was talking about how they move without the ball and they do certain things with their offense with Porzingis playing, which gave them a post presence where they could move without the ball and do other things. But now they're just stagnant on the outside. Everybody's taking a turn, and they're just trying to go one-on-one. And then what Gil just said about them not being able to get by guys, they're making 4 or 5 moves trying to get by one defender, which it makes it look even worse, because now they don't get that shot off. It's off to the races for a mediocre team in Cleveland. They don't have none of their pieces.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're cohesive whatsoever, and they're still in the game. They're still competing, because that's what happens when you play hard. At least they do play hard. I'm glad Garland finally woke up after all those games, just playing like he don't deserve to be an all-star. But the Celtics just in total, they're playing like prima donnas.
Prima donnas? What? Oh, brother. Listen, let me say this too. I think the Celtics right now can play better. Do I think the Celtics are playing right now at a rate that'll win the championship if they keep playing this way? I'm very hesitant on that. Just because, and I love the fact that this has become a meme on this channel. You know how I feel about my tier 1 players playing at a tier 1 level. And I'm sorry. I've been trying to bail this motherfucker out for a minute now. And I do still feel like he's getting overhated for the impact that he's having for the Celtics in this specific playoff run. But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a stack, bro. 24, 10, and 5 in a vacuum. If you just look at those stats, those are actually good enough in my opinion. But shooting 41% from the field, 26% from 3 is not cutting it, gang. It's not cutting it. And I think we saw that in game 2 of Cleveland. Bro, Derek White is not shooting 80% true shooting anymore. I think Jaylen Brown cooled down that game. So motherfuckers need to step up, you know? And these are two guys that specifically stepped up when Jason Tatum have had these stinkers, and when it was time for Jason Tatum to step up, he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So one, I am questioning Jason Tatum right now in terms of, are you playing good enough? I do believe these last 2 games, is Jason Tatum heading in the right direction. These last 2 games, he's had 33 points, 13 rebounds, well, not 13, but 13 rebounds here, 11 rebounds here, 6 assists here, 5 assists here. And while the turnovers are higher, I do think if you watch the games, it is a marker of how much aggressive he has been over these last couple of games. He's taken 25 shots now. He's hit 30 when he hasn't reached 30 before. Prior to these last 2 games, he is becoming more aggressive. But I will say it is a privilege that he is on a team where, I can't lie. And also the situations have also panned out to be where, you got the privilege to have these big margins of errors for you to fuck up because of the teams that you're facing and the teams that you're on. I do think that's a privilege that Jason Tatum has. But I think moving forward, I really do want to see Kristaps Porzingis back on the court because I personally feel like the offense gets so stagnant, and it has been stagnant without him out there. He does add that 3rd, 4th dimension offensively to the team that we traded for him for. So I definitely need to see that. Outside of that, though, everything's been looking good, though. I can't lie. I know those are 2 big things, but everything's been looking good.
Yeah, they're playing like they know they can win. They're supposed to win, but they're playing to the level of the competition, which you're never supposed to do. When
7-2 this postseason, had a ton of big wins. As Gil, you mentioned, they beat.
Wait, playing to the okay, that's where I'm gonna disagree. Listen, should they be sweeping? I guess, but they've blown out Miami in every single one by 20. Let me look at this series so far, and mind you, this is going into game 3. So, whatchamacallit, chat? The statistics might be different tomorrow. But the margin of victory here is 25 here. Celtics did get blown out here. 13 here, and last was 7. This was the closest margin of victory. Is that playing down to your competition when you've only lost twice and then you've only had 1 game within 10? I don't know what playing down to me, playing down to the competition is this shit going to 7. To me, playing down to the competition is Miami going to 6 and like a lot of those games being hella close. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I don't know, because that the whole, we'll get into it too, but that whole the Celtics haven't gone through adversity conversation, it's like, bro, if the Celtics, these 2 rounds, a lot of these games have been close, y'all like about to cook them for saying, you should be blowing out these teams. But then when you blow out these teams, now there's no competition. I gotta take at the end of this, dog, but jeez.
Jimmy's Butlers in the first round. Injury played Cavs squad in the second round. They got something coming from them out the West.
What do you want them to do? Win every game by 50?
Dominate.
Right? Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Against this squad, you should.
This is...
They are.
Whose NBA is this?
Out of soup.
Okay. Right. Sometimes just getting that win is just getting that win. They're they're 3-1 right now. Garland. What's so funny is I knew he was going to play very well because Mitchell's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And when Mitchell's there, that's what I was saying a couple weeks ago, that he delegates and then he becomes traditional point guard when that role is gone.
Yeah.
Right. This is who you are. Both of you guys do the same thing. Just do it. Right. You don't have to. The fact that you're stopping at 15 means you're consciously doing it.
Yep.
Right. You're consciously. I'm gonna stop here. This is enough. When I need you, you might need to go 110 sometimes. You can't keep going the speed limit.
Right.
Right. You need to get to where you need to get to. So the fact that everyone gets to see what he is
Speeding
when
advocate?
Donovan's off the court. When Donovan comes, you take the same shots.
Yep.
There's enough for both of you. Everybody else who...
I agree, because Evan Mobley is not consistent enough to be that number 2. And if you're banking on Karis LeVert to get them shots up, if you're banking on Isaac Okoro to get them shots up, DG does need to be way more aggressive when Donovan Mitchell is there. Now, unfortunately, we did receive the news today that Donovan Mitchell will not be playing for Game 5. And that's no troll soundboard. That is sad. So DG should be more aggressive today. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cavs fan, but it has been a thing for y'all that y'all team record when just one of them is playing is pretty good. Like when Donovan Mitchell is out, but Darius Garland is leading the squad, like y'all have been playing well. Vice versa, when Donovan Mitchell has been there, but Darius Garland has been out, like y'all have been playing well. I would like to see that record, but I'm not trying to make excuses right now. But that is interesting though, because I've seen that firsthand, y'all. I can't lie. I think it was the Cavs facing the Clippers. Like DG was going crazy or some shit. I don't know. I just remember one game this season.
They just don't get the ball anymore.
But did you see how they playing though? Niang and Strus are playing like they are go-to guys. Like confident, Okoro, like they all out there like, I'm gonna get my 10. And that's where I'm watching the game. I'm like, well, since when they start giving these type of guys like freedom to just come down and just shoot whenever? But then, like you're saying, when Garland is delegating to play, well, it's your turn. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna try to find my shot when I can. And that's just between him and Donovan Mitchell. Everybody else is just kind of like JB's giving them the, y'all do what y'all do. When it should be, man, y'all get it when we give it to you.
Everyone has a green light now. Just say that. Everyone has a green light.
Do you agree with that, Gil?
What?
Everyone having a green
Look at you.
No.
Not at all.
No. What? Everyone can just shoot shots. And you wonder why so many leads being blown, because guys who don't supposed to shoot.
Yeah.
Bad
Shoot shots.
Time and score.
And then at the end of the game, when the star player, the one who gets max and super max, is ready to take over, these guys think it's time for them to still keep going.
Yeah.
Right? They never had the responsibility of putting the team on their shoulders, but because they've been given a green light to shoot whenever they want, they don't know the concept of time and score.
Austin Reeves.
Damn, Papa,
That has been working for the Celtics though. That would be my only rebuttal, at least so far. I think that's also why Tatum has been criticized, is because of the fact that Tatum has really bought into the system. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Because he's shown it these last couple of games. If he really wanted to, he could shoot 25. But the flow of the offense does. One of the things Jason Tatum was criticized for these last couple of years, chat, is being a ball stopper, being stagnant, being a guy that wants to just get into mode, like isolation mode. And I do think this year, his reads are faster. He's more willing to give the ball up quicker. And that is why the Celtics offense is not stagnant. Or not stagnant, because the wealth is being distributed relatively equally. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is getting their touches. There's enough touches for Jaylen Brown to get his shit off. Drew Holiday, there's enough touches for him to get his shit off. Derek White as well, Porzingis as well. There is an alternate reality where Jason Tatum just says, "Yo, I'm the guy. I'm him. I'm taking 30 shots a night. Y'all can chill the fuck out." And now Derek White is not being maximized to the player that he can be. JB is not. He's turned into a catch and shoot player. Drew Holiday is just PJ Tucker out there. Kristaps Porzingis is just a pick and pop player. But that, for anyone who watches Celtics basketball, that's just not what they are. So I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. A lot of the Celtics conversation is such a damn if you do, damn if you don't. And I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten to a point where winning a championship ain't even enough, dog. Y'all, listen, y'all just don't like the Celtics. Y'all just don't like Jason Tatum. Cause I've never seen a finals run already be called Mickey because of injuries this fast, this quick. Typically, that's something that you revise afterwards. But people are already calling that. And I don't know, dog. Like, even if the Celtics win, there's gonna be criticism. The asterisk is already there. If JT don't put up 30 on 55 shooting, he's gonna get cooked. You know what I'm saying? You face who's in front of you. A lot of these injuries have nothing to do with the Celtics. I don't think any of these injuries have had anything to do with the Celtics. You face who's in front of you. They're not playing with their food so far. They've lost one game in every single series so far, but every single other game has pretty much been blowouts. Even this last game, I understand it was within 7, but there were moments where, the Celtics took a really big lead, so there was a chance of a blowout in this very last game. Motherfuckers just don't like him. It is what it is, dog. I've come to accept that, dog. It is what it is.
Hey, Lamont getting...
Just an example.
You're not gonna have Laker uniform on and be
Just an
throwing.
example.
You have to use another example. Use an example on your
LeBron
team.
James jersey, okay?
No,
Stop saying like
Who's LeBron rolling with?
whose team is it?
Use
The Limit
another.
Daddy.
Nah, you gonna have to use one of your teams, man. Somebody on Boston, dog. Even though they
do
play.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Derek White.
No, even though they no. Even though they play right, they play the right way. So you know what? Try another team,
I'm
then.
trying. I was thinking, I'm like, that's the only motherfucker come to mind. The Limit Daddy. He just come down and do what he
That was
wants.
funny.
He do what the fuck he wants.
I'd be a lot of about that. I'd just be like, you just missed the last 5 shots, and it's the first. How many shots you think you're supposed to get?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to get 5 to 7 per game. That's it. And the only reason you got the 7 is because you hit 3 or 4. But these guys, I'm just
No, everybody should not have a
like.
green light.
But is this the better team? The better teams, they do understand pecking order. There's still a pecking. Like that's what I said. Boston don't do that. Denver damn sure don't do that.
Hell no.
Right? You're not gonna have KCP ain't gonna just be chucking shots because he open.
Nope.
Right? He gonna be like, all right, that ain't a good one.
Yep.
He gonna look at that first quarter. He gonna look at that time. Oh, okay, it's my turn. Okay.
They go like,
If he hit a few...
Jamal, like, can I shoot this
We
one?
go. You got to go back to like when we talk about playing the game of basketball and knowing what that means. What is playing the game of basketball? I think that a lot of these guys grew up watching the game of basketball, thinking that what they see is how the game goes, and they were never taught how to play the game. So when you are a big man and you're in the game and all you're doing is setting screens and slow rolling, you're thinking that this is all I have to do. Instead of flashing to the ball, setting a off screen in the corner, doing little things that's helping you affect the game. All I'm seeing is guys running around in freestyle basketball. We called it 3-game, where everybody just moves without the ball. But you only did that when the play broke down, or it was, out of bounds OB, where you just like get it in. You guys either run a pick and roll or a pin down. But now these guys don't know how to move without the ball. They don't know how to affect the game. They don't know how to flash cut. They don't.
I hope this doesn't have anything to do with the Celtics, though. I can't lie. Because everyone on the Celtics, I will say, if there's one thing I like about this team, motherfuckers know how to move off ball. JB knows how to move off ball. I think Jason Tatum knows how to move off ball and also how to space the floor properly. For me, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes you don't gotta move, gang. If anything, you fuck up the spacing by moving around too much. You just gotta stay in that corner, let the action play out, and if the defense reacts and overhelps, that's when you stay in that corner and be ready to make the shot. You know what I'm saying? I think Kristaps Porzingis is a great roller. He's a pick and pop partner as well. You know what I'm saying? He can play the dunker spot. JB is good at backdoor cuts. Drew Holiday, great off ball. Derek White, great off ball. Sam Hauser, I think he's the best off ball player on the team, to be honest with you. Peyton Pritchard, I don't think he's great off ball, but he's a good spot up shooter in my opinion. Great on the ball, I will say that, but
on how to do any of those things where you look and say, all right, these guys know how to play. And there's only 2 or 3 teams that actually know how to do that, which is Denver. Because they run an offense where you pass it to Joker, y'all move without the ball.
What's funny is looking at so Conley, right, who drafted Joker and Murray and all that.
Tim Conley.
That was my rebounder when I was in Washington.
Crazy.
So he was my rebounder in Washington. Film breakdown, we used to watch film, look at certain things, right? And then Calvin Booth, my teammate, right, who's there now. They probably do something that we used to do back then that they probably don't even do anymore. If you want your team to move without the ball, there's called drills. Full court, 5-on-5 drills. No dribbling.
No dribbles.
Yeah.
Right? We're playing 4 quarters, no dribbling. Full court pressure, you can't dribble. Right? Or it's a turnover.
Yeah.
Turnover. That's the best drill.
Now,
yeah, that's crazy, man. I can't imagine playing basketball that way.
now everybody got to move. Pass it, cut,
Yep.
flash,
I feel it.
this,
Yep.
that,
I feel
it.
back door. Like,
That's a great
The only
drill.
thing they can do, you can bounce pass it.
That's the dribble.
Other than that, you're playing 48 minutes, no dribbling whatsoever.
Yep.
And what does that show you?
Now it makes everybody move without the ball. It makes you like hustle.
Yep.
Right? Because you can't just pass and sit there. Now you got to get the ball up the court. So now it's a bunch of passing. Now you're playing technically football.
Right. It's energy too.
Yeah, it's energy. But that's what we used to do. So because we played in Princeton.
Yep.
So understanding the Princeton, everything backdoor, cutting, flash, and react.
From my understanding, the way Coach Mazzulla is coaching this team is very reminiscent of the Houston Rockets with Mike D'Antoni. Just from an offensive standpoint, a lot of isolation basketball, a lot of mismatch hunting, and that a lot of teams do that. So I'm not saying that specific point is exclusive to the Celtics. Spamming up the threes, and from the conversation I've heard of Joe Mazzulla with JJ Redick, and also it does seem like they're really good friends. And the conversations I've heard from JJ Redick, it just mathematically makes sense to jack up threes. I can't lie. And the games where the 3 ball ain't falling, they're going to be there. You can't really avoid that. But in terms of playing the numbers game throughout a 7-game series, when you got a team that can shoot, you going to have those stinkers and you're going to have to live with them. But the chances of someone beating a sharp shooting team 4 times out of 7 games with the personnel that the Celtics have specifically is extremely hard. Especially with the fact that they're also great on defense. Is going to be extremely hard. Now, again, let me reemphasize, when that 3 ball ain't falling, you definitely need to have that go-to scorer that can get you a bucket from 3 levels. You're definitely going to need the mid-post presence, the mid-range isolation presence of a Kristaps Porzingis. You're going to need Jaylen Brown to really get into his bag, which the Celtics do have the luxury of having them. Well, not Porzingis right now, but having them as options once it gets to that point, which I do think the Houston Rockets back in the day did not have outside of Chris Paul. James Harden had that mid-range bag, but he was, I ain't gonna lie, it would be so out of character for James Harden to get into that bag, and I already have my grudge with James Harden's game. But nevertheless, with this Celtics team, I think that's the game plan for them, and we just gonna have to see how it plays out. Because the results speak for themselves, right? The results speak for themselves. I understand it's only been 2 rounds. I understand there's caveats when it comes to the other team. But a lot of these wins are blowouts. And a lot of these losses have just come from bad shooting nights. You know what I'm saying? Like 23% from 3 from the Celtics this night. And vice versa, when the Heat won in the first round, that was one of That was a career-setting night for the Miami Heat. And then the Celtics shot, let me go down. Oh, the Celtics actually didn't shoot bad. I think it was just the Heat. Yeah, shot 54%. The Heat just shot 54%. So I can't even point to that. And even that was still, I ain't even going to say that. But nevertheless, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Acting,
and very little dribbling.
dribble, yes. So it's like maybe bring back some of those drills and you get these motherfuckers from.
They lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy. Think about how lazy you can be with that, right? If you're not really doing a one-on-one move where that's what you practicing with the cones and it's like, bro, move without the ball. Like when you was doing that drill, when you could do a drill like that in practice, you knew you were playing with people who knew how to play the game.
Yeah, because what happens now when you look, certain players, they constantly have the ball in their hands and it's dribble, dribble, dribble. You're going to dribble for 20 seconds. Everybody else is just standing. Because it's like, well, he about to go do something with the ball. So I'm going to stand here. And then it's 5 seconds on the shot clock. And he's like, oh, here.
Take this
So
grenade.
then, right? So then you have some of those people who probably shouldn't be shooting. They're shooting because it's 5 seconds on the shot clock. And you just dribble the ball for 19, 20 seconds. Like, what am I supposed to do with it when I get it with 5 seconds left on the clock?
You know,
Personally, I don't even know if they're talking about the Celtics at this point. I don't think that's a big problem with the Celtics. I do think they run a lot of isolation sets. But nevertheless, are the Celtics primed to win championship basketball right now? I don't think so. I do think they're going to need Porzingis in the finals. I do think they're going to need Jason Tatum to play better. But I will say the battle-tested conversation, I've been hearing that a lot. I get it. Because I was personally worrisome of how much the Celtics were resting their star players going into the playoffs because of how rusty the Celtics were going to be going into the playoffs. Now, it does turn out that the whole team hasn't really been rusty, and it's only honestly been one player that's been relatively rusty. So that hasn't been a problem. But to me, if there is one team that I'm not worried about in the leagues, in the league currently, if there is one team that I'm not worried about being battle tested enough going to the finals because they are so experienced already, it is the Boston Celtics. I mean, y'all have told me this before. We have said this team is a playoff team, gonna make deep playoff runs before. You know what I'm saying? Jason Tatum is not new to deep playoff runs in his career. Jaylen Brown, same thing. Al Horford, same thing. Jrue Holiday has gone to the finals before and won a championship there. Derek White's been on the team long enough as well. Peyton Pritchard was on the team in 2022. Sam Hauser was here last season. You know what I'm saying? Kristaps Porzingis, he's probably the dude that's new to deep playoff runs, but was he on the team when the Mavs made it deep? Hold on, let me see. I don't think he was. Yeah, the deepest he's gone is first round, game 7. So Porzingis is probably the only question mark when it comes to experience. But to say that this team isn't battle tested, in this vacuum of a playoff run, cool, I'll give you that. But this team has been there, done that. So I'm not really worried about it from that perspective. But nevertheless, shout out to Gills Arena for the video. Let me know what y'all think about the Celtics moving forward. I'm enjoying these games. A lot of y'all are way too focused on player narratives and all that shit, dog. I'm focused on the team aspect, and I think as a team, we're playing good. We're playing great. I'm ready to move forward and win some fucking basketball games. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and I'm out, man. Peace.